Welcome back to another Kearys Carstore video, and we have a good one lined up for you today because this is a very popular question on the website. Which family SUV should you buy? So we created a battle of the SUVs. We have a Kia Sportage versus a Nissan Qashqai versus a Kadjar. So these are the three, probably the most popular cars on our website for the family SUVs, and we're going to test each one of them today and find out which one's best. If you have any questions about the SUVs you see in this video, there are links in the description to every one of them so you can check it out right there. Anyway, let's get on with this little battle.
Use your head and finger at carstore.ie. Find us in Cork and Dublin.
So family SUVs have been a very important, integral part of the market in Ireland at the moment. We've got every shape and size. There's executives, there's big ones, there's small ones, there's 7-seat ones, there's a whole lot. But the ones we consider to be family SUVs will be 5-seat, more like a 5-door hatchback. And the king of those in sales terms has been the Qashqai for a very, very long time. So we're going to have a look around the Qashqai and see what that's all about. The Qashqai was updated in 2017 and outsold almost everything on the road in the next year, making it one of the most popular cars in Ireland. Even in 2021, this model Qashqai looks sharp with a V-shaped grille and a better overall dynamic look. So you can see it fits in perfectly in the segment and actually created the segment of the 5-door SUV. Let's see what you actually get on the inside of a Qashqai that makes it different from its competitors. Nissan doesn't hold back on the old spec. This is the N-Technia model, and this model has a good thunk on the door area for sure, and a lovely seating position. I always like a Qashqai because you're looking down on things. You can see the bonnet out in front of you. It's a lovely place to be. Powered by a 1.2 litre, 115 horsepower, modest engine, but that's okay because it has a 6-speed box. So if you're sitting out on the M50 or you're going on the N7 on the motorway or whatever it is, 120, sit in 6 and it'll cruise along quite nicely for you. Dual zone climate controls in this one as well, electronic parking brake. You got a 12-volt socket up here at the front, but under here you got a USB port in there, so you can charge your phones and run Apple CarPlay if you want. Also here, of course, Nissan have put in their head unit, which Nissan systems are pretty easy to use, so you'll have Bluetooth if you don't want to use the USB port. Really nice, simple layout to a dashboard, real easy to use, real easy to drive. I love the visibility of this as well. This one has wind guards on both sides as well, which have Qashqai written on, put on from the factory, so that's quite nice for the window. You can have it open a crack in the rain. The rain's not going to come in the window. There's lots of nice little things in this car, nice little treats. But we'll have a look in the back seat as well, because a family hatchback has to be able to contain Isofix in the back as well, and has to have a decent boot. So we're going to test the two of those as well. But I do like, this would be one of my favourite layouts of any of these 5-door hatches. So being a 5-door hatchback, it has to be able to take people in the back seat as well. And if you look at the room I have here between the E and the seat, you got a hard back in that as well. So you got small kids, they push their feet in when you're driving. They're not going to hit you because they're hitting a plastic bit in the back. There's a little kind of a shelf in here that doesn't make any sense, but there is some map holders on both seats. And in the centre, you actually get an armrest for the kids as well, with a couple of cup holders in it. So you got somewhere to put it here. And don't forget, all the Qashqais come with Isofix on both sides, so you've got 2 Isofix points in this as well. You got a third seat belt in the middle if you want to actually carry somebody else, but these are 5-star NCAP rated cars, so they come with the maximum safety stars, which is pretty good. Let's have a look at the boot and see just how much a Nissan Qashqai can hold. So Nissan Qashqai has actually got a fairly commodious boot anyway, but I'm going to demonstrate something here. If I put this box in right now, it's not going to fit. It's going to stick out all over. It's not going to close. The boot lid won't close properly on it at all. But Qashqai has a little secret. What you do is take the 2 bits of floor and put them under the floor. So you end up with extra space. And when you go to put your box back into it, it just fits in perfectly. Look, right into the corner of it. You can fit 2 of them in now, the way it looks right this moment. So really, really simple. The boot of this is much bigger than it actually looks when you get it first. It's got a kind of a false floor under it. And if you don't want to use it this way, you can always put the floor back in as normal, and you can hide your personal belongings under the false floor. So when you're going to the shops, or you're going on the beach, or you're going away for the day, you can put all your swimming gear and your wet gear in underneath that bottom floor, close the lid, and the floor looks solid as normal. 10 out of 10 this boot actually is really clever. So the Kia Sportage, legendary. Kia has come a hell of a long way from when it first entered the market here. Come up with this kind of Sportage. This is a 1.7 litre diesel, 115 horsepower, 6-speed manual box as well. It's the kind of one you actually want. The spec is a little bit lower than the other two cars, but that's okay because the Sportage holds its value really well. Let's have a little look around the Sportage and then we'll check out the inside as well. The Sportage is a very popular mid-size SUV and it's got good reason. It's not an expert at anything in particular and yet it managed to be pretty good at everything. It appeals to a broad spectrum of customers. It was named by the public as the best towing car in 2019, so it's got a good reputation and a good reliability record. So on the inside, the Sportage has always been a nice place to be. It just feels very relaxed in here. It's a nice place to hang around. You do have air conditioning in this car. You do have a nice little radio system in this car as well. You don't have sat nav or anything else attached to it, but the price is reflected by that. You have a lovely, comfortable position to be. I do slightly prefer the Qashqai point of view in that you're looking down over the top of the car, and the window seems a bit bigger in the Qashqai than in here. Sportage though is very good. It came initially with a 7-year warranty on it, so that's always not to be sniffed at. You do get a USB port, aux connector and two 12-volt sockets in it. You have downhill assist on this car. I'm not sure why you'd need that, but should you ever find yourself going down a slippy mucky hill in a Kia Sportage, you've got downhill assist in this. You got parking sensors as well and a standard handbrake, now becoming very rare these days. But the car itself is actually big. It's very roomy in here. It's very roomy for 5 passengers as well. It's just a nice car to sit around and drive a long way in. If you're going down to the beach, you're going for a little holiday, a little break or whatever, this is the kind of car you're looking for. Have a look at the back seats though, just see if it's any bigger than the Qashqai. So back seat of a Sportage, there is quite obviously more room as I'm getting in through the door here. The door opens a bit wider than the Qashqai. But that wouldn't make me think any better of this over the Qashqai because there's actually just about the same amount of room in here. If I sit back and get my fists between me and the front seat. So the back seat here also has a little armrest in it with 2 cup holders inside. It's a nice back seat, very relaxed. You're kind of lying back. You can nearly drive slightly sideways in this as well. You've actually got a USB port and a 12-volt socket back here too, and the air vents bleed their cold air or warm air back here into the back seat too. It's not a hard back in the back of this, so if you have small kids, the little feet pushing into the back of this, you will feel them as you drive along. Can get annoying after a while. I know. I'm a dad myself. I know how it works. Anyway, let's have a little look at the boot and then we move on with the Kadjar. Now the boot is pretty big in a Sportage, and what I really do like is I can fit underneath it. 6'1", and I'm able to sit here underneath this boot and I can actually stay in out of the rain when I'm putting things in the boot. So I'm not being, if I'm here putting stuff in the boot, I'm not being rained straight on the whole time. Now the boot is actually pretty big, but I don't think it's actually as big as the Nissan Qashqai, weirdly, even though it's a bigger car, but it does have a spare wheel. So there's a spare wheel under where we had that split boot cover. And if we use our little bit ragged carbo box, put it in here, it fits. And it's lovely. Sits in right there, throws the boot on it, no problem, without any adaptations whatsoever. But the car itself is actually a little bit bigger than the Qashqai's as well. You do get a removable tonneau cover in this one, so I can pull out this and put it in, and that can actually come out and the car can fall flat, so you can turn this into a sort of a van. Really practical boot for the Sportage. It is bigger than the Qashqai. So this is based on the same chassis as the Qashqai. This is the Kadjar from Renault. This comes with a 1.5 litre, very dependable DCI engine. Good engine that put out 115 horsepower. Let's have a look around the outside of this one before we take a peek on the inside. The Renault Kadjar has a winning blend of desirability, quality and practicality at low running costs. It makes it a deserved family favourite. It's actually a very searched car on our website as well, particularly in the 1.5 DCI engine, which is a very dependable Renault-Nissan Alliance engine and just sips at diesel whenever you want to go anywhere. Let's have a look on the inside though, see what it's all about in there. So the inside of a Kadjar is actually very bright and airy, and I've always enjoyed the Kadjar. You sit very tall looking down on the rest of the car as well. You can see the bonnet out the front window, so good visibility all around. Big wing mirrors and stuff as well. You get a touchscreen in this one, which is actually quite nice. It's a really easy one to use, and then you have these lovely chrome dials that adjust your air conditioning. Underneath here, very practically, 2 USB ports and 1 12-volt socket in here as well. There's actually an aux connector here too. Electric handbrake, 6-speed gearbox, very good for cruising. As I said, a 1.5 DCI in this, 115 horsepower, and it's very dependable engine. It's been around for generations. It's going to be around for generations more. It's a lovely little engine to drive. And then you have all these little practical stowage units here as well, including a big glove box. this is a lovely car. I really have a deep appreciation for Renault Kadjars, and they're very practical. It's going to be a tight outcome between this and the Qashqai and the Sportage, so which one is the one that I actually favour the most, because I really like these, but I really like the Qashqai. That's a tough one. But in here, there's nothing I dislike about this car sitting here. You can drive this very happily for a very long way. They're really comfortable. The French do comfort very, very well. Anyway, let's have a look at the back seat of this one. So the Kadjar has nice big doors on it, and when you get into the back there's plenty of space here, but really not quite as much as the Qashqai. It's slightly tighter in here than the Qashqai. 12 volt socket in the back, no air vent, unlike the Sportage which had an air vent. And then in the middle here I don't get an armrest in it either, so this is a slightly different spec than the other two in the back seat. It's quite a dark place. If I close the door here, you see what I mean? It's quite a dark back seat. But it is big. It is plenty of space in here. Like, you will fit 3 adults across the middle of this, and they will be relatively comfortable doing it, so you will sit here nicely. This one also has Isofix in the back as well on both sides, so 2 full-size child seats will fit in here with comfort. It's quite nice, but still the Qashqai has a slight edge here on the space in the back. Let's have a look at the boot. So on paper the Kadjar actually has the biggest boot. If you look at it inside, it has a large boot, and when I say large, I mean just in its normal situation that box just gets swallowed by the car in one shot. But for practicality use, I actually think it's about the same size as the Qashqai. It's not very far off the same size sort of boot, just the way you use it. Now this one has a lift up cover here, and there's a spare wheel underneath, so that's pretty good as well, and it's quite nice. It's quite a nice inside, but if you drop these back row seats, you've got a step in there which will make it a little bit harder to put in something very flat across that. The winner of the boot space to me is the cleverness of the Qashqai. I think the Qashqai has it easily here, just because it's adaptable and you can do what you want with it. Plus you have a flat floor if you leave those things in, and you know your trip to IKEA when it opens again, that sort of stuff. It's all important things trying to get into your seat. Anyway, so let's round this all up, shall we?
In practical terms, the Sportage has the most usable space in the boot, followed by the Kadjar, but the Qashqai has the most cleverness with the split floor. In reality, the Nissan Qashqai has the best look and feel with the best interior, so I'll have to hand the overall winner to the Nissan Qashqai.
So yes, the Qashqai is the winner of the group. It is probably one of our most popular SUVs on the market, and in this spec it's actually really good. By the time you see this video, Kearys Carstore will actually be open, and you'll be able to come along and see over 700 used cars in stock, or just go to carstore.ie and select out the car you're looking for and click to make an appointment with one of our sales team here who can take you through the entire process of taking the car home with you. If you have any questions whatsoever, there are a list of links down below in the description that you can get a hold of us at any time. Thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video.
Use your head and finger at carstore.ie. Find us in Cork and Dublin.